start with the rest of the meeting. I did ask Ms. Logan, we do not have any public comments for today, so I'm going to turn this over to Linda Lamargraff for our first recognition.
Yes. I'm extremely proud to be recognizing Sarah. Come on up here. Sarah Wise is an English teacher at KH, and she has recently been awarded the National Board Professional Certification. So we're very proud of her.
I might just explain a little bit about National Board Certification. Is an extremely rigorous process that's optional for teachers to go through. I think Sarah is, to my knowledge, the 5th teacher we've had in our school district. Know that we have somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 teachers that work in our district every year, and Sarah is the 5th one over all the years to go through that process and earn that certification. And it's really designed to help teachers be the best possible teachers they can be. It's similar to going and earning a master's degree from a university. So a significant effort is necessary to earn that. And I think you'll have to renew that every 10 years.
Every 5 years.
Every 5 years. So it used to be 10, now it's every 5 years that has to be renewed, just like a state teaching credential. So yeah, thank you for all your work on that. We do have a program that supports our teachers, helps pay some of the expense for our teachers that are interested, and I think we have one other teacher right now that's working on that. But Sarah's our first teacher that took advantage of that additional support the district provides and put the time and effort in to get the certification. So thanks. Do you want to go shake everybody?
And I just want to say I very much appreciate the district offering that extra support. It's an expensive process, and the district helping cover the cost of half the modules really made it feasible so that I could focus on it.
Anything else you want to share?
Thank you.
One guy and shake hands.
You want a pen? I'm sorry? And Dr. Carlin, if I recall correctly, not only do you help pay for about half the modules, you also, that's also a supplemental or something, you get a little extra bonus.
Right. For teachers who have earned that, there is a little bit that's added to their salary each year as a result of doing it. Again, similar to what happens with earning an advanced degree. So there's a benefit to teachers in doing that.
So teachers in the room, I hope you heard that.
There's an annual stipend that the state provides, and then also the S5 sits on top of that.
Thank you so much for coming tonight, Mrs. Wise. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And then we have another recognition. Who will be?
I think Monica Diaz is going to recognize our county spelling bee champion today. Mr. Springston was here, but got called away, I think.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Jerry Serrano, who's an 8th grader at Horace Smith Middle School, and he is our Finney County Spelling Bee winner. He'll be going on to represent us at the state level March 21st in Wichita, so I think he's real excited about that. Is there anything you'd like to share? Any questions for him? He did an amazing job, definitely.
What was the winning word?
I think it was installation.
Can you spell it for us again?
I think INSTALLATION.
Barbara pointed out to me that this is the 5th year in a row that Horace Good has had the county spelling bee champion as a student from Horace Good. So Mr. Springsteen wanted to brag about that.
Well, Jerry, would you mind coming up so we can get a picture with you?
Yeah.
Sorry, one more time.
There you go. Awesome, thank you.
And you'll have the whole week with no distractions from school to practice all of your spelling right before it. Because you're not going to do anything else during spring break, right? Just practice. And now it's time for our building presentation. Ms. Elise?
I am going to use the microphone because I just want to make sure that our kids that are being representing or presenting their stuff, they're going to be able to be heard. First of all, welcome to Buffalo Jones. Thank you for having your board meeting here. I know it takes you out of your element, but we hope that you've enjoyed seeing what Buffalo Jones is about. We'll share a little bit more. But I would like to, first of all, ask the teachers to stand, all the staff to stand that are Buffalo Jones. These people need to be recognized. Thank you. Okay. Now I would like for the Buffalo Jones students to stand and be recognized. Thank you, teachers, staff. Thank you, students. And now I would like to ask the parents of Buffalo Jones students to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for being here and letting us borrow your children. So at this time, we have quite a bit of information to share, but we hope that it's going to be fun information. I know that you have heard lots about our new reading series, and I wanted to bring it to life to you to let you know what the kids are doing. And so there's a video that I hope works that we're going to let you see. And then I have students that are here to answer questions and maybe tell you a little bit more about what they learned. But the thing that I'd like for you to take from this video is that we have teachers that are taking their stories and are extending it to relevance or building relevance in what they read and are taking time during their social studies time, their sometimes maybe even during the reading, there's a section there that they can do projects. So this is where the relevance ties in to what they're reading. And so I want to thank the teachers that are really taking the reading and extending it. And you'll get to see. So first of all, Buffalo Jones was remodeled, believe it or not, almost 25 years ago. And we added lots of good things that have made our building a pleasure to learn. And this is the front, just recently, so you don't see the green grass. But you can see that we've advertised the board meeting, and it was also on our Facebook page. So thank you for being here, those of you that were there. Go ahead.
I'm afraid the video's not going to play, maybe.
It's not gonna play. It was playing earlier, but it was on my computer. Anyway, I've got a couple of kids that are gonna talk about what their learning experience here, so would you please come over here and let's talk about the city? And I'm gonna have you stand over here. So this story that they read was on government. And they built their city, so you can see where they built it. And I was invited to their classroom to come and hear what they learned about the city government. And Dr. Carlin's gonna try to play with it, so hopefully, because the kids get to share their learning experiences about what government does in our town, in our cities. Any luck? Okay, so Eddie, come over here. Eddie's going to tell you what he learned during this time.
We learned that government is a system of people and leaders working together to make important decisions for our town, state, and country. We need government to keep us safe, make laws, and make sure people follow those laws. My government building was an elementary school. The purpose of an elementary school is to help children learn. I'm in second grade in Mr. Navarro's class. Do you want any questions?
Thank you, Eddie. Okay, the next group that's going to present to you is another group that also read a story about robotics, and they extended their learning to create their own robotic and some functions that made their robotics special. So if you'll kids that have, bring your robots. Set them in front so they can see.
My name is Damien Soka. My name is Keone Price. And my name is Jillian Campos. We are in Miss Navarro's second grade class. Ms. Navarro told us that we needed to make an invention where we could help people or do something to help the world. I created this robot out of scraps. My robot's name is Hybo. Its job is to help people reach items that too high for people to reach. I discovered this problem when I saw my little sister trying to reach something. This is how it works. You press this button and then it will jump. Then it will get whatever you want with this arm. Then it will put it in here. Then it will go down and then you guys could get it. I have a robot here that I made out of items I brought from home that I didn't use anymore. My robot's name is Helpbot. I created it to help people pick up trash. I noticed we needed this invention when I went to the store and I saw a lot of trash on the street. The robot will poke trash with its arm and put it in its mouth, burn it, clean air, smoke will come out of here. We all make some form of robot. We did the robots because in our benchmark reading book we read about inventions and their inventors and their inventions. So during social studies time, we went to work and created our robots. My robot's name is PuppyBot. This robot will help save animals from the first. I knew we needed this invention when I saw the fire in Australia on my mom's phone. This is how it works. You press this button and then this tube it comes out with water. Water comes out the tube and then at the same time a claw comes out to pick up the animal and then the claw puts the animal in this pocket and then when the water clears the fire away, then the claw puts back the animal in where the animal was before. When I grow up, I want to be a vet. When I grow up, I want to be a zookeeper. When I grow up, I want to be a policewoman.
Thank you guys. Good job. Okay, so I hope that you can see some perspective on how they're taking a story and they're creating and coming up with some wonderful ideas. Jaylene, I thought she was going to say she built that robot for me because it was an extension to get things from high up. I don't know that you caught that, but she says she noticed the problem with her little sister, and that's why she thought to build a robot. And I thought she was going to say, I built it because Mrs. Solis might need help reaching things up high. Okay, so the next group of kids that we have are kids, you want to switch? This was something new for us this year, and we're very proud, but I'm gonna let the teacher and the kids present to you this information. So robotics kids, come up here and teacher.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Palmer. This is our first year with our robotics team. We've done very well. We've learned a lot this year. I'm going to let them share some things that they've learned and then I'll finish up.
We all have how to work together. We have learned how to work under pressure.
It is important that we learn how to take care of our equipment.
We needed to follow our instructions to build our robot. We have had to learn how to solve problems. We have learned how important record keeping can be.
We have had to practice driving our robot and learning to score points. We have even experimented with coding.
So our kiddos have done really well for our first year. At our last competition at Horse Good, we had one team qualify for the finals and they tied for 11th place. So we're really proud of our team. Our next competition is Saturday at Kenneth Henderson. So thank you.
Okay, so other things that are happening in our school. Here you have Our librarian takes kids and works with them. This is called, what is it called, Ms. Riggs? Makerspace. So another opportunity for kids to be creative, and she pulls them at different times of the day and provides them opportunities. So you can see, I'm not sure what grade, can you tell? Is that kindergarten, Ms. Riggs? I think it's kindergarten students. Go ahead, hon, switch. Another opportunity, kindergartners building with lots of different materials. An important element of our school is also KRR, which is our after-school program. And in this particular picture here, we have our LIFE program. And this is a program, go ahead, hon. This is a program where families are invited to participate for 8 straight weeks for about 3 hours. And they eat a meal and they participate in reading, they participate in listening to their kids. There's all kinds of activities that make it very family oriented, where the families really connect with their kids. And each family is asked to do a variety of activities, but this particular one at graduation, they create a story, or they write a story, and the members of the KRR program go through the stories and they select a winner. And on the event, or the graduation event, the family or the staff actually role play that. And this is one of them, when the family won and they created their story. And you can see that the little girl in the pink, she's the one that, her family won the story. Actually, she won the story plus her family. And the teacher right next to her is trying to encourage her to be a part of it, because she was a little bit hesitant in being on the play. But they do a wonderful job of really putting this play together, and the families just do a wonderful job of writing these stories. And it's a joint story. It's not the child, but it's the family doing that. Zayden? This is some of our families. I know the pictures aren't really good, but that's some of the family. That's actually the winning family. Go ahead, honey. Other things that we do at Buffalo Jones is we recognize students for their achievements. And you can see here that they have been awarded an excellence achievement for, all these kids were nominated to be on the, it's like a STEM activity, or actually, they were nominated for a STEM project. And this kid, if the parents were willing, they could either go to Denver or Dallas, and there's San Antonio. But it's a 2-week, it's a 7-day project, and it's cost $2,000. So I did tell the families if any of them wanted to attend and they were willing to let the kids go, we would figure out a way to try to sponsor them. I've not heard anything yet. These are kids that are in elementary, and to let them go for a week, it's a little too much, but we're still hoping. It's in June, so we'll see. Go ahead. More. Another thing that we try to do is recognize teachers. Our teachers need to be recognized for their efforts, and I say teachers, but to me, every staff member that's in our building is a teacher. And that is why I always refer to them as teachers. But we're recognizing, in this particular one, we have our a variety of teachers: our librarian, our KR director, our second grade teacher, our counselor, and our literacy coach, or actually instructional coach. I'm not going to go through every name, but keep going, hon. You'll see different teachers and staff personnel being recognized, and we actually have a wall or a bulletin board where we actually spotlight them, and we write something. They actually share something about themselves, and I try to write something that makes them stand out to me. Keep going. There's quite a few more interventionists, new teachers, teachers that have been here, and then we had Tracy come and recognize our crossing guard. Kids that were celebrating Kindness Week, and there's pictures of them being, I think they were being models instead of showing kindness, but it was Kindness Week. We also had kids that were selected for being good citizens, and the teachers nominated the kids, and these were the kids that actually won a year's membership to the YMCA, and we had Chad Nye, who is the CEO for that department, and his different people. One of the boards was here as well. Our kids were so excited when we got the Lending Library, and our Lending Library is south of our building, and it blew off the first time we had a wind. So they came back, and it's a pretty story now. I don't think any wind will be able to tear it down. So our kids are able to take books home. They can bring them back or keep them at home. We don't check on that. We just try to fill it and make sure that the kids have that opportunity. And that's our presentation. That's all that I have. Just other facts that I have is just the fact that, we do work, we try to work in a variety of ways to reach our families, or reach our kids. And one of the things that I think maybe you got to see, just recently we started to do a school family. And so all the members of the staff, including our custodians, we didn't include the cooks because they leave a little early and our project was going to be at 3 o'clock or so. And so every member of our staff has adopted 5 to 7 children. And the kids have just really embraced the idea. They love it. They're coming and at lunchtime they want to go eat with their mom, their school mom, or their school dad. And it was really cool. We just kicked it off last week, and of course we had Valentine's Day, and it was so cool as I saw the moms or the dads or the uncles or the grandparents, whatever they're called. It was up to them and the family, and they were coming around and bringing little gifts to their kids, and those kids were like so up. I mean, they were so high. They were already high with sugar, but I mean, it was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to see how they are really embracing the idea of being a part of the family. And one of the reasons why we did the families is relationships is so critical. And I really thought we have a great relationship with our kids, but it's amazing how the kids have just embraced being a part of this small family. And the other cool thing is that they're adopting each other as siblings. I had an opportunity with my kids, and I know I heard this from many of the others, but they were able to help their little brother. Like I had two boys, and right away one said that he was his little brother. And it was just amazing that the love that I saw with the kids towards one another. And so I just am excited to see what's actually going to take place with this opportunity as we keep growing and keep developing and embracing the relationship with our students. So I don't know if any of the staff would like to say anything else. I do have one of the greatest staffs, and I thank them for their hard work because it's not easy sometimes, and we have a lot to do. But they are champions, and they come together always with a smile. And I couldn't do it without them. And I just am thankful because even though we try to work really smart and try to figure out ways to help our kids. I almost always feel like the little engine that could. We're chugging along, trying to get up that hill. And it's, right now we've got the state report card, and I'm sure you've already heard, but we're approaching, and we're pretty happy with that because we could be below. And so approaching is good. I want to be able to meet, and our teachers want to be able to meet the expectation of the state, and we keep looking for different ways. And I want to thank the board because honestly, we have tried different things, and the board's always been there to support us because we do our research, and when we come and ask for changes or try to do some tweaking in what we're doing, you're always very supportive. And so I thank you because we've done a lot of different things to make our school what it is today. And if it wasn't for the support of the board, I don't know where we'd be. So I'm thankful for the board as I am thankful to the staff. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
I was gonna say thank you for allowing us to come today and for showing us your fantastic building. Thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you to the staff and all the students. If any of the students are still here, maybe we can have them go through the line. Again, if that would work, or have they already run away?
We still have some kids here. If you're a Buffalo Jones student, would you please come this way? And we're going to have you shake the board's hand.
Good luck on Saturday.
For other presenters, I'm going to leave the mic here. I know that people in the audience probably would enjoy hearing us rather than just the boards.
Thank you, Mrs. Solis. Stephanie, do we have any correspondence? I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as amended, as previously amended.
Sorry. Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? I think that will now take us to Crystal.
I think everybody leaves when I have to go.
Next time we'll move you and the agenda that way.
Okay, so I'm just giving an update on our MTSS process, which is short for our multi-tiered systems of support. So just a brief definition of what MTSS is.
Crystal, I'm sorry, can people in the back hear her? Okay, sorry, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. MTSS, or multi-tiered systems of support, is the way we describe how the system we create to help support students in our district, all students, whether they're struggling with grade level standards or beyond those. And then it also includes the programs or the systems we use to support that, and then the processes or the procedures we have in place. So the purpose of MTSS is to, it's a system of prevention, so to identify or to help prevent students from struggling, early identification, so early on identifying students who may struggle or who are struggling, and then providing interventions to address those needs, and then to support every student in their learning. So whether it's students who, again, are struggling with grade level standards, or students who are above those grade level standards and need challenged. So I think the next one's a graphic board. So this is just kind of a simple graphic organizer of what MTSS involves. So you'll hear the terminology, Tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. So our tier 1 is all of our students, whether they're struggling or whether they're on grade level or above. So our tier 1 is really our core instruction. This happens every single day with kids in the classroom. And then tier 2 and tier 3 are our students that were struggling with our grade level standards. So tier 2 would be they need additional support, and then our tier 3 would be a more intensive support. And then, actually, I'll hit that in the next slide, sorry. So again, just kind of a description, the difference between the three. So tier 1, again, is our core classroom instruction. So within our core instruction, we do differentiation. So they may not need an extensive intervention, but maybe there's a specific skill or a minor need that they have that can be addressed within our core, our tier 1. Tier 2, different buildings approach this different ways. So some buildings have what they call a walk-to intervention, which is basically the entire building goes into an intervention time, and so kids travel to different teachers or different groups, and during that time they get that tier 2 or that additional intervention or support. It's usually about 30 minutes, and group sizes are about 3 to 5. Sometimes they can get up to about 8. Also during this time, this is where students who need challenged above grade level, that would be occurring during this time as well. So that's technically not a tier 2 intervention, but that would be provided at the same time. They don't need to go to a type of intervention, so then they're challenged in that manner. And then tier 3 would be an additional on top of tier 2. So this is in a smaller group, 1 to 3 students, really an intensive support on what that student or what that group of students needs to be successful. And then this is, so we have particular procedures that we use to help identify our kids that need interventions, whether that's tier 2 or tier 3. So different grade levels follow different processes. This is our K1 kids, and it's just a graphic organizer. The teachers and buildings walk through each one of these steps, but the first step is our universal screener data, which we use FastBridge. So it just kind of, it's a real quick general screener, and it just kind of flags students that may be at risk. And then using that data, teachers dig in a little deeper. So is that student really at risk? Did it just happen to be a bad day? So they dig a little deeper into the data. Then they use that data to group kids based on what they need. And then that's how they determine what small group intervention they go into. And then this is a big step with our MTSS process is the progress monitoring. So the constant checking how students are doing. Are they improving? Is the intervention we're providing working? If it's not working, what do we need to adjust? If it is working, we continue. And then when the student meets that grade level standard, then they can transition out. They no longer need the intervention. And then it's just a continuous circle. So we're constantly checking on kids, so we don't miss them, or if we need to change what we're doing or provide different supports. K1 looks a little different at the very beginning of kindergarten when kids are kind of identified as maybe being at risk or maybe needing extra support. During kindergarten, we try to do more in-class support, so providing other certified teachers or paraprofessionals to go in and support the core instruction, so we can make sure it's not just a lack of having that exposure, giving the kids time to transition into kindergarten, be exposed to the curriculum, to the content before we start removing them into a different setting to provide more help. And then this is second grade and up. It works similar. We have a little more, we have like state assessment data and some national norms data on kids that are older. So we do look at that screening data just like we would with kindergarten and first grade. And then after that step, we look at a second piece, which would be state assessment data. If we have our high school kids, we have pre-ACT data. So we use that data along with their screening data to kind of get a whole picture of the student. And then it works on the same way. Based on the skills they're needing or the weaknesses that are identified, kids are grouped into groups according to that, and then interventions are provided based on what skill that they're identified as needing. And the same thing, continuous process. We look at that all the time, progress monitor, and adjust as needed. And then these are just some general numbers. Since that intervention is a continuous loop, these numbers are constantly changing. So these were accurate as of Thursday, so they may have already changed, but just kind of where we're at right now, just with our tier 2, tier 3 systems of support. So the first line is fall. So remember, our tier 2 is our 30 additional minutes, and our tier 3 would be 45 to 60 additional minutes of help a day. And then just an overall percentage approximately of our kids that were in that. And then from fall to winter, the kids that were in intervention, so tier 2 or tier 3, we had about 20%, 264 kids that transitioned out. So met their progress monitoring goal, whatever skill they were lacking, and they were able to achieve and transition out. And again, we continually check on those kids, so if they start to slip again, we can get them back. And then the last row is where we're at right now for the winter. Our data came in December, so right now those kiddos are interventions currently. I think that's it. Do you have any questions for me or clarification?
How long have you, we've seen a presentation previously. How long has this structure been in place?
So the district-wide, we've had an MTSS for as long as I can remember. I don't know if I know the amount of time. The K1 recommendations of doing more of a push-in or supporting in, that was new recommendations from the state this year. So we changed that model a little bit. Last year we would have done kind of like what we do with second up, pulling them out and servicing them. So that changed a little with recommendations from them. As far as the number of years our district's done MTSS, I don't know that number.
Do you have a feeling for which direction our trend is in terms of tier 2, number of tier 2, or percentage of tier 2 and tier 3 kids? Are we trending towards more interventions, less interventions, about the same number? And that shows 2019, which is
Yeah, I feel like,
years past.
yeah, so this is, I started tracking this last year, so I really only have, officially 2 years of data. I know the buildings keep past data, so I could probably gather that and get more. But since it is a continual process, I feel like even if, as we move kids out, then we're moving other kids in. So I don't know if we have huge changes in the percentage of kids that are in tier 2 and tier 3. I feel like it kind of stays the same, but I don't know that for sure. I'd have to collect a little more data.
I think what we're finding out is that the intervention that's being made is changing. For example, we started with like phonemic awareness, phonics, and now you're seeing more kids that are in the fluency. So the actual intervention is changing. The numbers may still be the same, but I think we're seeing less and less kids being in intervention.
That's a really good point. They're still technically in an intervention, but the skill they're working on is a little higher or more rigorous.
Because you could have 5 or 6 different, and these are reading interventions.
These numbers are reading. Yes, these numbers are
Yeah.
literacy.
So you could have 5 or 6 different things that possibilities for a kid to be working on, and they may need all 5, but they need to deal with one first before they can go move on to a
Right.
different one.
Yeah. Or sometimes it's a scheduling thing. You can't address everything you want. You have to prioritize.
Thank you so much,
You're
Crystal.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Diaz, I think you're up again.
try it without the microphone. If you need us to use it, we can. We're here tonight to talk about the after-school program, Kansas Reading Roadmap. We refer to it as KRR. So there's an after-school program and summer school program involved in KRR. And I've got the coordinators, all but one here, to help discuss and answer any questions about how they run KRR in their buildings and what it looks like district-wide. So Melanie Marcy was not here tonight, and she's the coordinator for Victor and Alice. We have Jamie Schweer from Gertrude Walker, Sonia Duran from Florence Wilson, Sabrina Espinosa from Buffalo Jones, and Shayla Seibert from A. Hubert.
Shayla just had to leave to go.
Oh, Shayla, she thought she'd be able to, she had an appointment, so we lost one. So, we'll go ahead and move on. So the purpose of KRR.
The purpose of KRR, the purpose of the Kansas Reading Roadmap after-school program is to help participants acquire the skills necessary to become proficient readers by the end of 3rd grade. That is a big task for a lot of our students in our district just because we have so many language barriers. So working towards that 3rd grade on-level reading is pretty important. 3rd grade reading proficiency is correlated with significant numbers of positive outcomes, including high school graduation and workforce readiness. So we need to get them graduated, and we need them reading proficiently to fill out job applications, trade schools, whatever it is they may choose to do. How does KRR work? KRR targets the phonics and phonemic awareness skills based on the participant's need. Research around early reading is clear that attempts to practice reading can be premature if a striving reader lacks the foundational skills necessary to properly read, and KRR students are provided with a skill-based intervention. And for us, we work closely with the MTSS system that Crystal spoke about. Our interventionists work with the kids during the day. They're given the quick phonics screener. We use the FastBridge data to know where to place those kids. So wherever they're placed during the day, getting that tier 2, tier 3 intervention, then at KRR, we mirror that. So if they're working on CDC skills or silent E skills during the day, that's what they work on at KRR. So they're getting an extra boost of helping master that skill, so hopefully we can transition through to the next skill and get them out of that intervention a little bit sooner. Our history for the KRR is we were grant funded, and it began in the summer of 2016. So we actually started with a summer school program first, and then rolled into an after-school program, and then those are the 5 sites that Monica addressed that are part of the KRR program.
So after-school tutoring, KRR provides individual reading intervention for after-school participants aligned with school day screening. Alignment with school data ensures that an after-school reading program is driving in the same direction as what a participant is being taught during the day. The combination of a skills-based approach aligning with school data that is intended to increase literacy achievement. After school, structural literacy interventions improve reading skills in a fun learning environment. Children also receive a healthy snack and stay active in the Healthy Kids session. Progress is monitored by school data.
So we also offer a life integrated family engagement program. Life transforms family and engagement into opportunities to increase literacy skills and promote social and emotional development. Parents learn to support their children's reading development at home. We provide eight sessions for the families. They enjoy a meal together, practice listening, read, and engage in child-led play. Parents also have the opportunity to share with other families, and they have a parent group where they can just talk about life skills. I mean, if they're having any issues at home, what are they doing different that maybe it might work for them? So we also offer a summer program. It's structured, aligned with school data, and it's essential for closing the literacy gap. The 4-week summer camp gives students the opportunity to learn
and gain new friends with team building, community service, math, STEM, fun days, and field trips. And that is about 20 days in just the month of June.
So here we have some data to support what KRR is doing in schools. So if you notice, the first 5 are the schools that have KRR, and the light blue are the KRR student growth percentages, and the darker blue is non-KRR students in those schools and the growth that they're showing. The second half of this table are the schools that do not have KRR and the typical growth that is seen in those buildings. Knowing we only have 5 schools that were grant funded for the after-school program. Again, KRR students and their percentage growth compared to the non-KRR and non-KRR schools. So we're definitely seeing data to support what's happening in our after-school programs, and it's closely aligned to what's happening during the day with interventions, just a continuation in a fun, relaxing way for an after-school program. So just to let you guys know, there is some uncertainty of the next steps for KRR. We no longer have the initial grant that we were awarded to run KRR. So DCF terminates the grant funding for Kansas Reading Roadmap, but we are in hopes of finding some additional grants to support this program. We're currently applying for the 21st Century Grant, which is a grant that supports after-school and summer programs. And just last week, I think Thursday, DCF did release an application for grant funding. So now that that's out there, our next step will be figuring out how to file for that grant and see what kind of support financially we can get for after-school programming. And then we're just going to end with some pictures. We've got some summer programs here, kids working through interventions and games. We have a couple more slides. We've got some life program pictures, activities that they're doing with family, how family is learning to understand and ask questions about the data that they might be, teachers might be sharing with them. It's a small, safe group where they can ask questions and kind of dig into what they might be seeing during parent-teacher conferences. And there might be one more slide of pictures. Yep. How they're doing some community services with the bell ringer at Walmart. I believe you guys did that at Walmart.
The neighborhood
Walmart, and then supporting the police officers as well with treats.
The police officer slide, for our last day of summer school, we have a fun day, and they came and ran some of the stations that the kids did with their water games and such, and then they stayed and joined us for our lunch barbecue. So that's why we got to have them for the morning.
And we also have a couple of administrators from Buffalo Jones and Gertrude Walker here to
And then
help support their team.
We also have an interventionist from Gertrude
Okay.
Walker.
Sorry.
So if we have intervention questions, she can help answer those as well.
We also have our interventionist, Ms. Lupe Vera, as well, from Buffalo Jones.
So as you can see, it's a team effort providing the support for after-school and summer programming, and we have the support from teachers, parents, administrators. It's been an amazing program, so our hope is to continue it with researching and finding grant funds to support the after-school program financially. Do you have any questions for us?
How many students take part in the after-school programs?
Gertrude Walker, I have 70.
North Wilson has 50.
Here at Buffalo Jones, we have 75 students.
And I know VO has about that 70-ish. And Abe Hubert, I think, is like 50, 55, somewhere in that. So really quite a few. And then that whatever number were allotted for the after-school program, those numbers are also the same numbers we recruit for summer school. So there will be about that same number of kids participating in the summer school program.
KRR grant designate the number of kids that you can. And
Our budgets determine, when we get our budgets, it say you're funded for X amount of kids and X amount of tutors and.
and you think that there's a room for more, or there would be a need for more kids, where there's more kids that you can handle, more kids than you were allotted?
At times, yeah. There's, like, last year I had 92 kids on an 80-kid budget, but we made it work. But it kind of just cycles with, like Crystal said, the MTSS. Once the need is there, we're there to serve the need. We want to cycle them through, get them back to Tier 1, but as soon as you move Tier 1 out, somebody new moved into the district, and you're filling that slot with somebody else. Our English language learners at Gertrude Walker seem to stay a little longer just because of the language barriers. You know, teaching controlled R and some of those phonic vowel skills are hard when you don't know the language real well.
AJ's not here, so
She's our tech person today.
what's the size of the grant?
The way it's currently structured, each building is about $125,000 to $150,000 a year to run both the school year program and the after-school program.
And the
So
life program.
in total, it's about $725,000 to $750,000 for those 5 schools.
It's a sizable amount of money.
Dr. Carl, remind me, I think initially when we got it, were we only supposed to get 3, but we convinced everyone that we do 5?
Yeah, when we first pursued that, they told us we would be allowed to have 3 KRR elementary schools, and we'd have to do an application process. We had 5 schools to apply, and the KRR people were so impressed with the applications, they said, we'll fund all 5. And that was in effect until last fall, and then at the state level, the decision was made not to fund. So DCF did direct fund us this year, this school year, so we have funding through the summer program this year. But we were told that that would not be continued, and the RFP for the replacement grant just came out late last week, so we will be aggressively pursuing that. Well, we're also probably going to include, I'd be surprised if there's not some things in our resource allocation process that relate to this from our elementary schools. That'll be that committee's decision to make, but I know they're going to get lobbied hard. But the 700,000-ish price tag of KRR, I doubt we have anywhere near that amount of total available. You know, last year I think we had $270,000 to devote to additional programs. So I don't think there would be enough probably to be able to fund the entire thing. So maybe a combination of some ask there as well as some of the stuff as well. One quick question I had. Jamie, you mentioned that there's a kind of an alignment with MTSS, and that kids in KRR work on the same skills that they're working on during the school day. But is it correct that even though they're working on the same skills, they're not doing the exact same curriculum? KRR actually, so they don't just get this more of the exact same thing. It's a different approach, but it's focused on specifically what their needs are and on the same standards or skills, but with a different curriculum.
Yes, we do, say if they're working on the silent E skill during the day, the interventionists have their own protocol list that the district has set. So they're pulling resources from that protocol list that the district has approved for them to use for interventions. We mirror that with a separate program. So we're using a couple other phonics programs, so we're giving them another look. Some of the programs we use are a little more manipulative. They're shuffling those letters back and forth, and they're color-coded, and they're creating them, and they're using more hands to do it, because there are some learners that just physically have to do it. They have to see them, move them, and so we give that opportunity for them to have that skill, see it in a different way. But once the interventionists do their phonics screener, then we know whether that was successful or not, and hopefully they've moved on to their next skill, and then we just start the same process, but a new skill.
Well, I know it's not up there now, but maybe you need to talk to the gentleman in your last photo. Representative Wheeler.
Yes, we have. He is a very big supporter of our program, and knows that there are good things that are happening with it. So we've had Mr. Wheeler at our program, we've had Mr. Dahl at our program, and they've both been very impressed with what we can do with the kids.
Thank you, ladies, for your time. Appreciate you coming out. That takes us to board open discussion. Jennifer, start with you.
I haven't thought of anything yet.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know anything.
What do you think? Okay. Dr. Mannion?
Only that we need a little quieter water cooler. It's not my thought.
I had the opportunity to, on World Real Lab Day, to read to some third graders at Victoria Dallas, so that was a cool opportunity to be able to go do that. And I did want to say thank you to Solis for allowing us to be here tonight and to really be able to showcase your building and all the wonderful things that you and your staff are doing. So thank you very much.
The librarian here usually does something for Dr. Seuss's week, birthday week, so you get another chance to read the students again. I had a couple of things. I went to the legislative coffee on Saturday and asked
process where our budget for the school is presented transparently to the community. There's a requirement in state statute that the board conduct a budget hearing every year. That usually happens in the middle of August. And in our district, that process normally happens over 3 meetings where KJ presents the budget. At the subsequent meeting, she reviews that and entertains questions from the board and gets permission to publish the budget. And then after publication, we have a 3rd meeting where we conduct that budget hearing. And so I think a lot of the requirements in that bill are actually happening already. But as you pointed out, the timing is different. The new requirements would not only make us do it twice, but the earlier time we would have to do it, we literally will not have the information available that we need to be able to go through that process. So thanks for bringing that up. We do have a celebrity in our midst today. KJ went to Topeka last week and testified in the legislature. One of the things in KSD's budget, student enrollment in Kansas is actually declining a little bit. And so in the state budget forecast, they had planned for an increase in students. So since there's fewer students, there's actually a little bit of surplus in the state budget for education. And so Dale Dennis has suggested to the state that they consider, one of the requirements in statute is the state fund 92% of our excess costs for special education. And so right now we're required under federal mandate to provide special education services. So you would think we would get funded for all that, right? Well, no, the federal government doesn't carry their share of that. They don't, even though it's a federal requirement, they don't pay for all of that. So then the state kicks some in. When you add all that up, we still end up having to take money out of our general fund to cover the cost of special education. So the state is supposed to fund 92% of those excess costs. Last year it was around 78% that they funded. This year, if they don't do something different, it'll be around 75. And Dale's proposal is, since we have some extra money budgeted, let's apply that money to special ed and let's get closer to the 92% that's in Kansas law. And KJ went to basically kind of lay out the numbers from our district's perspective, how much we have to transfer from our general fund. And those dollars could be used to implement the district's other priorities of taking care of our employees, research and evidence-based programs that are good for kids, or maintaining our investment and maintaining reasonable local property taxes if those general fund dollars were freed up. So thanks for going up there. It's never it's kind of a nerve-wracking thing to go and testify, and so we really appreciate you doing that, KJ.
Can I add to that real quick?
Absolutely.
Just to give you an idea of what that is, when I was gathering my data, I just took a look at the last 4 years. And so while the number of our special education students is increasing, and our, as Dr. Carla mentioned, our funding is going down from 78, 75, 73% excess costs, we, over the last 4 years, contributed over $4 million a year, so almost $17 million in the last 4 years to supplement that gap that we have on these unfunded mandates. It's not a small number.
So we heard a presentation tonight about KRR. If we weren't having to supplement at that level, that might be dollars that could be used to keep a program or expand a program like KRR. Or reading roadmap now, I think we call it. Just reading roadmap. I too would like to thank Rafaela for hosting us. Thanks, Rafaela. Please extend a thank you to your staff, your custodians that'll have a little extra work to do to prepare for tomorrow. Stephanie and our office for the work they've done, and then our district grounds people help with the transportation, some of the tables and stuff. I think it really is fun to get out in the schools and see things firsthand, and so that's enjoyable, but it does take a little bit of extra to make that happen. And then last, people soon will, if they haven't already, will start getting some paperwork in the mail for every 10-year event, the census. And so we're starting to kind of try to advocate for that and push for that. Really important for people in our community to understand how important that census calendar, but the magic date, remember, it's first week of April, maybe it's April 1, but it's early April. And if you're living in Garden City, we want to count you. That's how that's supposed to be done. So, and we're doing a little push with out in schools with that to kind of hopefully help some of our families hear that message and know that maybe hear from some trusted adults that it's okay to do that. As a matter of fact, we need you to do it. So.
Because your first thing reminded me though, talking about the funding and everything. I was reading an article just a few minutes before I came in, talking about careers and the return of investment on those careers and whether or not it's worth it. And one of those was elementary education. So hopefully we can use some of those funds to help increase salaries, so it is worth it. Because our number of teachers are continuously going down, and this is our future. So we need to flip that one around a little bit. Okay, anything else? Thanks. The next meeting of the Board of Education will take place on Monday, March 2nd, 2020 at 6 p.m. in the board meeting room at the Educational Support Center. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chairman, I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.